Welcome to this short series of several video tutorials on Blender. I'm sorry for my English. At the end of this mini course, you will be able to walk a little with Blender. I recommend you to exercise continuously, experimenting and acquiring more notions, following the free video tutorials on www.blenderhighschool.it and purchasing the volumes Blender The Ultimate Guide and the complete video course in 70 lessons. But what is Blender? This is the most complete open source 3D software that you can download for free on www.blender.org website. Click on the download button and choose the version. Then install it. Blender is a very complex software, but not difficult. During the lesson, I will reveal some topics that will allow you to understand the logic. A recommendation: get yourself a proper GPU board and set it as a rendering engine. Go to User Preferences menu, File, User Preferences, and in the System tab, set your board as GPU device. I suggest you to set the left mouse button as a selection button, because for default it is inverted. To do this, always from the User Preferences, select the tab Input and click on Left. Save these settings by clicking Save User Settings. I remind you that in these short lessons that you will learn only main notions on Blender that you can use as point of departure to go next. Once the program has installed, launch it. The Blender startup interface is immediately very user-friendly. As you can see, it is divided into 5 editors. On the top, you can find the Info editor. Allow you, among the other things, to load and save the files, to save the scene, and to set the rendering engine. Set it on Cycles. From the File menu, go to Save Startup File and choose this option to save the default settings. The largest editor is called 3D View. This is the main work area where your 3D models will be created. On the sides, you can find 2 sidebars: the Tool shelf, that includes the tools, and the Properties bar, in which you can find the properties of the object and the working area settings. These sidebars can be recalled by the keys T and N. On the right of the 3D view, you can find the 2 editors. The Outliner on the top, which contains the list of the objects into the scene and their constraints, and the Property editor, divided in tabs, which contains the entire project properties. Below, the Timeline editor for animations. All the editors are linked and can be resized by dragging the borders with the left mouse button, like this. The editors can be also split or delayed, dragging the upper right or lower left corners. You will finally choose the nature of any editors by the icon menu. Each editor is provided with a header that can be positioned up or down respect to the work area. This, for example, is the header of the 3D view. At startup on the 3D view, there are a cube, a lamp, and a camera. You can select them with the left mouse button, or make a multiple selection typing B and dragging the box, or typing C, coloring the objects to be selected, and then pressing ESC. The outline of the selected objects will be colored in orange, and on the active object in light orange. On the active object of a selection can be applied materials, modifiers, and other functions. To delete an object or more selected objects, click on Del or X, then Confirm. To select or deselect all objects, type A. There are different nature of objects, and to insert them into the scene, there are several ways. I suggest you to use the shortcut Shift-A and choose the object to be inserted from the category on the menu. Insert, for example, a sphere. Choose UV sphere. The sphere will appear on the outline editor and into the 3D view on the 3D cursor, which can be placed at will in the scene with the right mouse button. Each object has an origin. To understand what is the origin, imagine that it is a center of the rotation. In fact, when you insert an object, its origin will be corresponding to the 3D cursor. Now, let's see how to move, rotate, and scale an object. There are several ways. I always suggest you to use the shortcut. To move an object, just type G for grab. To rotate it, R. And to scale it, S. This will move, rotate, and scale with respect to its origin. I will show you later how to move the origin to a known point. Now, let's move an object of a known distance. Select the sphere, then type G, then X, then 3. The sphere will move in the X direction of 3 units. Now try to move it in the negative Y direction of 3 units. Type G, Y, -2. The same is true for rotation. Type R, Z, 45. The sphere will rotate 45 degrees around the Z-axis. You can also scale the sphere. Try, for example, to flatten it, typing S, Z, 0.5 or simply 0.5. Another way to move, rotate and scale an object is to use the gizmo, a small set of 3 Cartesian axes positioned on the object origin. Just click and drag on one of the axes. The object will move in that direction, while clicking and dragging on the small circle on the center, you will move it freely in the space. You can do the same for the gizmo rotation, here. And for the scale, by clicking here. That's all. See you next time and we'll talk about object mode, edit mode and modifiers. Thanks for watching.